we're doing this on the road?
Yeah, you know why?
Because we're trying to catch up?
Yeah. This way when the customers pull up, they're like, what the fuck's going on?
We'll take one of those.
I'm going to do a little walk around on how I normally do it, and then after that I just want to give you a little bit of information on the truck, why our truck is better. So pretty much for every feature that you give someone, you want to give them a benefit. You don't want to just walk around the truck and say, oh, it's got daytime running lamps, it's got 100,000 mile tune-up, it has J-hooks on the hood. You want to give them the benefit. What's so good about daytime running lamps? When you start the vehicle, the headlamps come on, they only use 1/5 the power, and then at night, you got automatic headlamps on, so the headlamps come on to full intensity. It just makes it more visible for other drivers to see during the day. It's a safety feature, so you want to point that out. J-hooks, what's the benefit? If you're in a collision, the hood won't shoot through the windshield. Our trucks have it. There's a lot of trucks out there that don't have J-hooks on the hood. So anyway, like I said, let me do a little walk around, and then I'm going to go over some of the features and the benefits on the truck, why ours is better. And you don't want to spend too much time doing a walk around. You want to spend about 5 minutes. You don't want the people to get bored about the truck, you know. Okay, so first of all, and as far as the truck, pretty much the 5.3 is the most common engine, whether it's the 4.8 or the 5.3. I just want to say, okay, this vehicle has the 8-cylinder 5.3. The nice thing about our engine right now, it has active fuel management, which means if you do a lot of highway driving and you reach cruising speed, it turns off 4 of the fuel injectors. So you're only burning on 4 cylinders, so it does benefit. It has a good fuel economy rating with the 5.3. It runs a lot smoother with the active fuel management. First tune-up on the vehicle is at 100,000 miles because they use platinum-tip spark plugs. The coolant on the vehicle is called Dex Cool. First service on your coolant is 5 years or 100,000 miles. Compared to other vehicles right now, like the Dodge and the Ford, they don't use Dex Cool. You have to change your coolant every 3 years. The transmission fluid, even though on the full-size pickups it does have a dipstick to check your transmission fluid, but it has Dextron 6. The first service on your transmission on this truck is at 100,000 miles. Normally on any other vehicle without Dextron 6, it's 30,000 miles, 30 to 40,000 miles before you need to do your first service on your transmission. It has a single serpentine fan belt with a belt tensioner. You never need to bring the vehicle in to have the fan belts adjusted, like the older cars. Now on this vehicle, what they did, they changed last year, they put an additional fan belt just for the air conditioning system. So if your air conditioning system 10 years down the road ever seized up, you're not left stranded with the truck because it has that additional belt. So the dry belt will take you home until you can get to service to get a belt put on the vehicle. I'll go around this way. Okay, another nice thing, the heart of this whole truck is the chassis. Now, it started back in 1997 when Chevrolet introduced the new Corvette. They came out with a frame that was hydroformed. Hydroforming means that a solid piece of steel goes into a machine where cold fluid pressurizes the metal instead of them using heat. When you use heat, it weakens the metal. You get a lot of noises, squeaks, and rattles. You don't have a stiff enough chassis, so it doesn't ride as nice. Now with the hydroforming, this has one of the stiffest frames in the truck market. Okay, they also took torsion bars out of the front end and they put coil over shock springs. That's why when you drive this truck, you notice this truck has a real nice ride. And they also, even though the width of the truck stayed the same, the wheel track is 1.5 inches on this side and 1.5 inches wider on the other side. So 3 inches total wider track, so the truck handles and rides a lot better than all the competition. All the doors on the Chevrolet pickups, all these doors are all made out of one-piece solid construction. When you look, and I don't like to knock any Ford or Dodge, everybody makes a good truck. I just want to show you why ours is a little better. Okay, if you go look at all those trucks, they weld this half to the bottom half, and they bolt the hinges to the body. These are all welded to the body, and it's all one-piece solid construction. So you could actually hang 300 pounds on these doors, and after 10 years, this truck door will always close the same way. Okay, because because they're not bolted. When you bolt hinges to the body, they loosen, the door hinge sags, and then you have to push in on the door to close the door. Lock it out.
What's the alarm?
Okay. Another nice thing about Chevrolet, the back seat of the Chevrolet, this seat is on an 18-degree angle. If you look at the Ford, it's on a 14-degree angle, and the Dodge is flat. So you do sit a lot more comfortably in the back seat of the Chevrolet compared to the other vehicles. The doors open up all the way. The rear glass does come down all the way now instead of 3/4 of the way. Another thing about the beds of the truck, all these beds are all welded to the body rather than being bolted to the body. Like I said, I'm comparing it to Ford, but when you go to Ford, you have all the bolts in the bed of the truck. Out here in Arizona, you don't get a lot of rust, but back east, you have bolts in the truck. The first place the rust is going to form is where the bolts are. Also, if you use the truck as a truck and you slide in sheetrock inside the bed of the truck, the bolts could grab onto the material and mar the material. Our beds are all flat. They're all welded, not bolted. They come up 2 inches higher than the competition. You also have 2-tier loading. So you can put a 2x6 from this end to the other end, put a sheet of plywood up on top, so you can load on the top and the bottom. They have 4-corner tie downs in each corner of the bed to tie things down. Chevrolet also has drain holes in the bed of the truck. Ford doesn't have any drain holes, and Dodge puts their drain holes right here, which really serve no purpose if you have any kind of water in the bed. That's why the Chevrolet trucks are on a little bit of an angle, so when it does rain and the water's in the bed, it rolls right down towards the front and the water drains out of the bed. Okay? Another thing, if you go next door and you stand on the tailgate of the Ford, the metal on the Chevy is, you get what you pay for, okay? Our truck is probably the most expensive truck, and there's reasons. You go stand on that Ford tailgate, it holds 200 pounds. This tailgate holds 400 pounds. You'll see the metal start bending when you stand on the truck. Okay? Another thing about Chevrolet and GMC, we're the only truck that has a real true locking differential. So even if you had a 2-wheel drive vehicle compared to their 4-wheel drive vehicles, the rear end, once one tire gets stuck in sand, mud, dirt, snow, whatever, and it starts spinning real fast, the rear end locks so the other tire will pull you out. Now, with their 4-wheel drive vehicles, they don't have a true locking differential. So their 4-wheel drive is really a 3-wheel drive vehicle. If you get a 4-wheel drive on a Chevy, it's a true 4x4. We're the only ones that have it. They don't have it. They put drum brakes in the rear. People are going to ask, why didn't they put the disc brakes in the rear? The reason they put drum brakes in the rear is because it's a little bit lighter than the disc brakes. There's less unsprung weight, and Chevrolet wanted to keep the ride on this truck. This truck rides, I'm not saying because I sell them, but this truck does ride better than any Dodge, Ford, Toyota out there. So if you compare all the trucks and you drive them, this one is going to ride better and handle better. Tow package. It does have a Class 3 hitch on the back, and it's all pre-wired, so you don't have to get underneath and connect any wires to your taillights. It's all pre-wired from the factory. This one does have a backup camera. You can see the camera right here. I mean, we drove for 50 years without cameras. Everybody needs a camera now, but it is nice if you do tow a boat, you can see when you're backing up yourself, you can see where to drop the hitch on.
Can you use both plugs?
Huh?
Can you use both plugs for the hitch?
There's a couple of, it depends on what type of trailer you have. Because there's a 7-pin, there's a 4-pin, and there's
but does it come equipped with both of them?
It doesn't come with it, no. You have to go to the parts department and buy the plug that fits your trailer.
It used to come with it if they don't do it anymore.
How much is the Easy Lift tailgate versus the other one?
The Easy Lift? Not sure. I think it's probably about a $100 option.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the price.
What's the weight difference, do you know?
On the Easy Lift, it's the same.
It's the same?
Right. Oh, the weight of the tailgate itself? I don't
it's
really.
Quite a bit lighter.
Well,
When you give it without the Easy Lift?
Yeah, I don't notice that much of a difference, to be honest. Warranty. Now, like I say, if you know the truck, or if you know the Chevy Sonic, all the features like the long life coolant and the Dextron 6 automatic transmission fluid, it's all the vehicle tow. It depends on the rear axle that the vehicle has and what engine. So most of them are going to have a 5.3. Depending on the rear end, if it's a 373 or a 342. Now, another thing that people are going to ask as far as the rear axle. There's two different rear ends when you get a 5.3. This vehicle does have a 6-speed automatic transmission, okay, compared to the 4-speed that it used to have. So it does shift a lot faster. You do get a lot better fuel economy with a 6-speed. This vehicle is going to tow up to 8,600 pounds, okay, with the 6-speed automatic, and that's on a half-ton vehicle. So you want to find out what they're towing. What are they using the vehicle for? How, are they towing horse trailers? If they're just towing jet skis, no, you don't need a Duramax diesel with a dually to tow jet skis. Okay.
It's got a 342 rear end that tows 8,600. If it had a 308, it's going to tow 5,000, 5,500.
Right. Now the difference between the higher number, like a 373 compared to a 342, the higher number gives you more torque off the line. It'll eat more fuel on the highway because the engine is revving higher, just like a 10-speed bicycle. When you put the chain on the big gear, it's easy to pedal, so you can tow right off the line. When you put it in, it's hard to pedal with the smaller gear, the 308 or the 342. But once you're rolling on the highway, you're going to get better fuel economy. So, as far as the warranties on the vehicle, Chevrolet now has the best warranty they ever had on the pickup truck. You have a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. You also have a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain. So the powertrain is the engine, transmission, and rear axle. Not only that, we do have 5-year, 100,000-mile roadside assistance. They don't offer roadside assistance with Toyota or Dodge. You get stuck, you call your own tow truck. This, you press the button, the OnStar button, or program OnStar's phone number in your cell phone. Hey, I got a flat or something's wrong with the truck. They come and pick it up. They have roadside assistance for 5 years with this truck. It's one of the best. And I told so many people about roadside assistance. Man, roadside, especially if they're buying a vehicle, whether it be a truck or a Sonic, for a son or a daughter, and they want to feel like, if they ever get stuck, hey, you just call OnStar, and they're going to come down and help you. What they do in the Phoenix area, they try to bring common repair items like batteries, belts, hoses, something that might break on the road. So, if the battery's dead, they're going to jump the vehicle. If not, they're going to try to change the battery. They're going to try and fix the vehicle right there on the spot for you. Now, if they can't, then they'll tow it to the nearest Chevrolet dealership. What else?
Courtesy transportation.
Well, that's up to the dealer. Okay, another thing, a couple of things on the interior. You do have automatic headlamps on, so when it gets dark out, this little sensor on the dash senses darkness, so it'll bring the headlights and taillights on to full intensity. You also have a manual shift on the gear shift lever. So you have two different modes. This button right here is a tow hold mode. What that does is change the shift pattern of the transmission. So if you're towing a vehicle, it'll keep it in gear a little bit longer before it shifts to give you more torque to get going. With the plus and minus button right here, you could manually shift the transmission. So let's say you're climbing a hill in Flagstaff and you have a 6,000-pound boat on the back of the truck. You can leave it in 4th or 5th gear to prevent it from shifting into 6th gear to give you more power to climb a hill. Okay? That's about it.
That's pretty good.
Right.